Hi, I'm giving kind of an update about getting me moved into my trailer and off-grid. The solar panel frame that was such a disaster, I took it to this new guy to have it redone, and he built me the right kind of frame this time. There's no pieces anymore that stick up that block the sun like the other one that was done wrong. This one, it's adjustable from 45 degrees to flat, and it has the loops where you can use tent stakes to stick it in the ground at all four corners. And this is what it looks like. There's just kind of a general thing. I'm looking through the email that I just got. I'm real excited. And there's no more wires hanging down for the neighborhood cats to play with and chew into. No more cat toy, and the wires are no longer hanging, so that's good. That mess is taken care of, and I'm sitting here in my canopy. Wow, I'm getting mosquito bit to death. I just got 4 bites on my hand. I've got over 40 bites in the last 2 hours. When the front doors opened here, even for a second, just go in and out, the mosquitoes swarm in, and then they're living in here. There's really no standing water in here, but, you know, for the few days after they all swarm in, it's just horrendous, and it's very tiring because I get bit, and then I get really exhausted from just having all that mosquito venom in me. The canopy, it's open a crack so that I can see my monitor. It's open a crack. But they somehow find their way in, and plus I get out to, you know, have to do things, and the minute I go out and, you know, get something done, or to go to the kitchen and get something, or go to the bathroom, taking a shower is really a nightmare, because they really come after me then. I get bit. And basically my days have just been really, really, really stressful. I've been having to just scramble to get another place. Since CenturyLink had told me 4 different times from 4 different reps on 4 different occasions that the place I rented had service, and then I called to set up service, and they told me, oh no, there's no service, that whoever told you wrong. Well, I verified it 4 times before renting the place. So now it's kind of a real mess. I have to try to scramble for another place, because when you're disabled, to not have phone and internet in your place, it's really impossible. I need the internet to, you know, just get my daily needs met, and the phone as well. And when you're electrosensitive, it has to be a wired line. It has to be a landline DSL combination or cable. Cable's pretty difficult because they really just don't have the services either, or you can't, you know, they don't have a modem that will work with my solar system, and one of the phone companies just doesn't want to work with it. I might file an ADA complaint because there's like 2 spaces that would be perfect for me, but I just have to go out and look at them, and if they are, you know, it would be a shame to pass them up because the phone company doesn't want to allow me to use a modem that would be compatible with DSL, but, you know, they're bent on me having to use their stuff. So in that case I will file a complaint, but I'm trying to find something that's in another area like Frontier or CenturyLink or some other company, small phone company, Windstream maybe, or something. And I looked at a space yesterday to kind of describe what's going on, and the meter went up twice as much as it does here. I mean, it went almost up into the danger zone. And it was, I really don't want to stay here in New Mexico, but it was nearby here, and it was a pretty little place, but the RFs were just way too high. Things were just too close, and it just was high. Actually, this whole town where I live is high. I happen to be in like a lucky little corner of it that's not. I mean, everything else around here is like double what this is. And I've just had like reams and reams of papers, hundreds and hundreds of papers that, you know, just stuff of these parks, of, you know, finding parks online, finding parks through word of mouth, putting ads out, getting replies to my ads. One thing about putting ads out, you just have to be really careful, because the people that call, they don't even own property, and they're trying to rent you a space that doesn't exist, and they kind of want to have you chase around. one guy, he didn't own the property at all, and his landlord owned it, but he didn't ask his landlord permission. He just called me up and wanted to have a space, and then he says, I'll go tell my landlord, and the landlord said no. And I wasted a lot of time. I wasted hours setting up phone service. I wasted hours doing everything with that. And so you just have to be real careful, ask them a lot of questions. If you're going to park somewhere, you've got to ask them just everything. And make sure that they're the owners and they have authorization to do it. Because there's been a lot of people come in at me with spaces, and they're not really real spaces. And even when I've called places and asked to like get a service, and somebody will say, oh, I know of a space. They don't really know of a space. There's no space at all. And they're just pulling my chain to get a reaction, to see me run around and chase after a space. And it kind of excites them that I'm, interested in chasing. And I just kind of, usually with people like that, I just email them and I tell them, if you ever get a real space, let me know. But it's got to be a legitimate space. Thank you. Bye. And, if somebody I really think is a scammer, then I don't even answer them. And then I've had some good people, a lot of good people, but again, when I try to get phone and DSL, it's not available. And that has been 90% of the case on that. And the big parks aren't going to work for me. They're too loaded with Wi-Fi. Then there's other parks that would be good, but then they have a cell tower. So it's just really difficult to find something that isn't going to absolutely kill me to stay in it. And you never know with like a metal trailer, because those waves get inside and then they bounce around and intensify inside. A lot of people would think they would be a Faraday cage, but from what other sensitives have told me, not at all. A trailer isn't going to be protection. Now sometimes it is. And in that case, then it's kind of frosting on the cake, but it's not something you can ever expect to be. So you have to kind of, make wise choices to begin with. And I don't really have time, because I've been running around brushing, calling hundreds and hundreds of numbers a day, calling to try to find out if this modem's going to work with that. It's just constant. Like, I wish I had 3 phones so I could hold them all at once while I'm, on the phone. And people talk so slow when I'm trying to, hurry. And it's just really, really, really stressful when you don't have enough time to go find something. And it makes it hard to find a good place, because when you're stressed, you miss the opportunities. When you're in a hurry, you don't see the little opportunity. You don't stop and have that one conversation that's going to network you into the space. And so being in a hurry and having to get out of here real fast, it just makes it really, really hard. And having the space fall through when I thought I had one leaves me less time, because now I'm scrambling to get a space. So I'm going to go tomorrow and look at a couple spaces. I'm going to travel and I'm going to look, and hopefully one of them will at least be no worse than here. And then, I can do that, move there, and then, slowly plan what I'm going to do next and figure it out and get used to, living on solar, living in an RV and all that, and then work toward the next step from there. And there's another space, but it's in kind of a strange place. It's kind of creepy to me. And, I'll even look into that if that's necessary, but, something that's not completely blasted with, radio frequency and Wi-Fi and wireless. So it's been really long, just hours of phone calls, and you pretty much have to, before I look at a place, before I'm going to travel like 4 to 8 hours one way to look at a place, I set up the phone service first, because if I don't, they can lie and tell me they have it, and then I put my money down on a place again and go through the same thing I did before, where I go set the service up and they tell me they don't. So it's like my credit's been getting dinged all over. I set up the phone service, they ding it with an inquiry, I go look at the place, it's full of cell towers. I do antenna search ahead of time, but it's not always accurate. So I then go set up phone service at the next one and do that ahead of time. One of the companies